The small town of Willow Creek, Oregon, hummed with the quiet charm of a place where everyone knew each other's secrets. In this cozy corner of America, 25-year-old Emily Harper had spent her entire life chasing a spotlight that always seemed to shine on her older sister, Sophia. At 29, Sophia was the golden child of the Harper family, radiant, ambitious, and effortlessly magnetic. To their parents, Sophia was a living trophy, the daughter who could do no wrong. Emily, on the other hand, was the quieter sibling, forever stuck in her sister's dazzling orbit, her every achievement dimmed by Sophia's brilliance. From the moment Emily could remember, Sophia had been the center of their family's universe. If Emily brought home a glowing report card, Sophia would waltz in with a scholarship letter. If Emily wanted to hang out with friends, Sophia's plans, whether a date with her high school sweetheart or a solo trip to Portland, would steal their parents' attention. "Why can't you be more like Sophia?" their mother, Diane, would sigh, her words slicing into Emily's confidence like a paper cut. In Willow Creek, where gossip traveled faster than the wind, Sophia was the town's darling, and Emily was just Sophia's little sister. The tension between the sisters wasn't always so sharp. As kids, they'd shared giggles over late-night ice cream and braided each other's hair. But as they grew, so did the divide. Sophia's charisma pulled people in like gravity, while Emily's quieter nature left her feeling like an afterthought. Things took a darker turn when Sophia, at 24, married Ethan Caldwell, a 32-year-old tech entrepreneur with a smile that could charm a snake. Ethan was upfront from the start. He wanted a life free of children, focused on his career and adventures with Sophia. But Sophia, ever the optimist, believed she could sway him. "He'll change his mind," she'd say with a toss of her auburn hair, her voice brimming with confidence. "I always get what I want." Emily watched their wedding from the sidelines, a bridesmaid in a pale lavender dress that felt like a costume for someone else's story. The ceremony was a spectacle, string lights twinkling over a vineyard, guests toasting to the couple's fairy tale love. Sophia glowed in her ivory gown, her laughter ringing like a bell. Emily clutched her bouquet, forcing a smile as she stood in her sister's shadow, unnoticed by the crowd. 3 years later, the fairy tale unraveled. Ethan's stance on kids never wavered, and Sophia's dream of motherhood became a battleground. Late-night arguments echoed through their sleek Portland loft, spilling into family gatherings. One chilly evening, as Emily and Sophia sat on their parents' porch, sipping hot cider, Sophia's facade cracked. "Ethan's so selfish," she spat, her green eyes flashing with hurt. "He doesn't get it. He doesn't know what it's like to ache for a child." Emily nodded, unsure of what to say. She knew Sophia had been warned about Ethan's views, but her sister had always believed she could bend the world to her will. When Ethan filed for divorce, the Harper family reeled. Diane called Emily, her voice tight with frustration. "Do you know what's going on with Sophia? Ethan's leaving her. She's falling apart." Emily listened, her heart sinking under the familiar weight of expectation. Diane's words were clear. Sophia was the priority, and Emily needed to step up. "You have to be there for her," Diane insisted. Emily sighed, staring at her reflection in the kitchen window. Why was it always her job to fix Sophia's messes? Why did she have to carry the burden of her sister's choices? The breaking point came when Emily announced her engagement to Ryan Mitchell, a kind-hearted carpenter with eyes that seemed to see straight through her insecurities. Their wedding was set for October, a simple affair in a rustic barn outside Willow Creek. Emily had never felt so sure of anything, or anyone. But when she shared the news, Sophia's reaction was ice-cold. "October?" Sophia sneered, her lips curling as if Emily had slapped her. "That's when Ethan and I signed the divorce papers." "How perfect. You're throwing a party while my life's in ruins." Emily's stomach twisted. "Sophia, I didn't know about the timing. We planned this months ago." But Sophia wasn't listening. "You've always wanted to one-up me, Emily. Always waiting for your chance to shine while I'm down." Sophia's words cut deep, but they were only the beginning. Soon, rumors began to swirl through Willow Creek's tight-knit community. Sophia told anyone who'd listen that Emily had meddled in her marriage, whispering in Ethan's ear to convince him to leave. Emily's always been jealous, Sophia confided to their cousin. Mia, her voice dripping with faux sorrow. She wanted my life, and when she saw her chance, she took it. The lies spread like wildfire. A family friend texted Emily. Did you really talk Ethan into dumping Sophia? How could you? Emily's heart pounded as she read the message. She barely knew Ethan, let alone had the power to sway his decisions. But Sophia's story painted her as a scheming villain, and the town was eating it up. One sunny afternoon, Emily was at a local boutique, slipping into a wedding dress that made her feel like a princess for the first time. The soft lace hugged her frame, and she allowed herself a moment of joy. Then Diane walked in, her eyes puffy and her expression grim. Emily, what did you do? She demanded. Sophia says you texted Ethan, egging him on to leave her. She says you bragged about getting married and starting a family before her. Emily froze, the dress suddenly feeling like a weight. Mom, I didn't do anything. I don't even have Ethan's number. Sophia's lying. Diane sighed, her hands trembling as she gripped Emily's shoulders. Sophia's hurting. Emily, she's lost everything. You need to understand her pain. Emily's world tilted. Sophia wasn't just lying, she was rewriting history to make Emily the scapegoat. Desperate to clear the air, Emily drove to Sophia's apartment. A chic loft overlooking the Willamette River. The same fairy lights Emily had helped hang still twinkled on the balcony. A cruel reminder of happier times. Sophia answered the door, her eyes red but her posture defiant. What are you doing here? She snapped. Emily took a deep breath. Sophia, why are you telling everyone I ruined your marriage? You know I had nothing to do with Ethan. Sophia crossed her arms, a bitter smirk twisting her lips. Oh, please. Why did Ethan walk out right when you got engaged? Why did he say he wanted a fresh start, just as you and Ryan were playing happy couple? You've always wanted what I had. Emily's voice shook with frustration. You're delusional. Sophia, Ethan left because you two didn't agree on kids. You knew that from the start. Don't pin your mistakes on me. Sophia's laugh was sharp, like broken glass. You'll regret this. Emily, you think you've won? You'll lose everything, just like I did. Emily turned away, each step feeling heavier than the last. The sister she'd once adored was gone, replaced by someone determined to drag her down. Weeks later, Diane called again, her tone colder than ever. Emily, we need to talk. Can you put the wedding on hold? Emily's heart sank. What do you mean? Diane's words were like a blade. Postpone it. For Sophia, she's a wreck. And seeing you get married now, it's too much. Have you thought about how she feels? Emily's hands trembled as she gripped the phone. Mom, the invitations are out. The deposits are paid. I can't just cancel my life because Sophia's hurting. Diane's voice hardened. You're so selfish. Emily, this family gave you everything. And now, when your sister needs you, you only care about yourself. The call ended in a silence that echoed through Emily's bones. She looked at Ryan, who sat beside her, his brown eyes filled with worry. You okay? He asked softly. Emily nodded, but inside, she was crumbling. She tried calling her parents, even Sophia, but no one answered. Then, one rainy afternoon, an envelope arrived, Diane's handwriting shaky on the front. Inside was a letter that shattered Emily's heart. Emily, we've thought long and hard. Your father and I won't be at your wedding. Not because we don't love you, but because we can't watch Sophia suffer more. You're living the life she dreamed of. Please don't hate us. The words burned into Emily's soul. Her parents, the people who should have walked her down the aisle, had chosen Sophia. As October loomed, Emily felt the weight of their absence like a storm cloud over her heart. The barn was ready, the flowers ordered, but the joy of her wedding was tainted by betrayal. Could she find the strength to stand tall? Or would Sophia's lies and her family's rejection break her before she could say, I do? The rain-slicked streets of Seattle gleamed under the streetlights as Emily Harper, now 28, sipped coffee in a cozy cafe near her new home. 3 years had passed since her wedding day. A bittersweet memory tainted by her sister Sophia's venom and her parents' absence. Emily and her husband, Ryan Mitchell, had left Willow Creek, Oregon, behind, trading small-town gossip for the vibrant hum of the city. Their modest suburban house, with its ivy-covered fence and sunlit kitchen, was a sanctuary, a place where Emily could finally breathe. But the scars of her past lingered, and Sophia's shadow wasn't so easily outrun. One crisp autumn afternoon, as Emily and Ryan enjoyed a rare lunch date at the cafe, a familiar voice shattered the moment. "Emily? Is that you?" She turned, her heart skipping a beat. There stood James Caldwell, Sophia's ex-husband, though Emily had always known him as Ethan. At 35, James looked weathered, his dark hair cropped short, his once polished demeanor roughened by time. "James," Emily said, her voice cautious. Ryan extended a hand, his gaze wary but polite. "Mind if I join you?" James asked, pulling out a chair after Ryan's slight nod. As James settled in, his eyes carried a weight Emily hadn't seen before. "I heard you're expecting," he said, his tone soft but tinged with something deeper. Emily nodded, her hand instinctively resting on her barely there bump. "Yeah, we're thrilled." James forced a smile, then leaned forward, his voice low. "Sophia's still telling everyone I left her because I didn't want kids." "Isn't she?" Emily froze, her coffee cup halfway to her lips. "That's what she said. That you refused to be a father and broke her heart." James let out a bitter laugh, his fingers tightening around his mug. "I've stayed quiet for 3 years, thinking it was better to let her save face. But she's been lying to everyone. Emily, including you." Ryan leaned in, his brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" James took a deep breath, his jaw clenching as if the words physically hurt. "The truth is, Sophia stopped taking her birth control without telling me. She wanted to get pregnant, to trap me into staying. She admitted it during a fight, said if I wouldn't agree to kids, she'd make the choice for me." Emily's heart pounded, the cafe's chatter fading into a dull roar. "Are you serious?" she whispered. James nodded, his eyes dark with betrayal. "I found her old prescription in the trash, months out of date. When I confronted her, she didn't even apologize. She laughed, called me a coward, said I was too weak to be a father. That's why I filed for divorce, not because I didn't want kids, but because I couldn't stay with someone who'd lie like that." Emily's mind reeled. Sophia had spun a tale of victimhood, painting James as the heartless villain and herself as the heartbroken dreamer. But the real story was uglier, and it explained so much. "Sophia never told us any of this," Emily said, her voice trembling. "She said you abandoned her, that you refused to give her the family she wanted." James shook his head, his laugh hollow. "She didn't want the truth out there, so she made me the bad guy, and you, Emily. She told everyone you sided with me, that you pushed me to leave her." Ryan's hand tightened around Emily's, his voice sharp. "She what?" James met his gaze. "Sophia's been saying Emily met with me behind her back, convincing me to walk away. She even told your cousin Mia that Emily was jealous, that she wanted to steal Sophia's life." Emily's chest tightened, the betrayal cutting deeper than ever. "That's a lie," she said, her voice shaking. "I barely spoke to you during your marriage. I never had your number. Never met you alone." James nodded, his expression grim. "I know, but Sophia's good at twisting stories. She's been playing the victim for years, and she's dragging you down with her." The conversation left Emily shaken, the truth about Sophia's marriage like a grenade in her carefully rebuilt life. But the storm was just beginning. A few months later, Emily's pregnancy brought a wave of joy, until Sophia's shadow crept back in. One morning, as Emily scrolled through her phone, a message from her landlord popped up. "Emily, got a call from your sister, Sophia. She said you're struggling financially and might miss rent. Everything okay?" Emily's blood ran cold. Sophia had no business contacting her landlord, let alone spreading lies about her stability. Before she could process it, Ryan's mother, Linda, called. "Emily, I got a strange text from Sophia," Linda said, her voice laced with concern. "She said you're not yourself, that you're too stressed to handle the pregnancy. She even hinted you might not be fit to raise the baby." Emily's hands shook, fury and fear colliding in her chest. "That's not true," she managed. Linda hesitated, then dropped another bombshell. "Sophia also said James cheated on her, and you took his side." She's telling everyone you betrayed her. Emily's vision blurred with tears. Sophia wasn't just lying, she was waging war. Trying to dismantle Emily's life piece by piece. The final straw came when Sophia called Emily's landlord again. This time claiming Emily was mentally unstable and mismanaging Ryan's money. She suggested you might need a guardian. The landlord texted, his tone apologetic. Emily threw her phone onto the couch. Her heart racing. Sophia was painting her as a fragile, incompetent mess, incapable of being a wife or mother. Ryan stormed into the room. His face etched with anger. This has to stop. Emily, she's trying to destroy you. He pulled out his phone, calling Linda to set the record straight, recounting James's revelation and Sophia's lies. Linda listened, her voice softening. I believe you, Emily, but Sophia's not just targeting us. She's reaching out to everyone you know. Emily knew Ryan was right. She couldn't stay silent anymore. With his unwavering support, she marched into a lawyer's office, her hands gripping the chair as she explained everything. Sophia's lies, her harassment, her attempts to sabotage Emily's reputation. The lawyer, a sharp woman named Claire, drafted a cease and desist letter, her pen moving with precision. This demands that Sophia and your parents stop all contact, Claire said, sliding the document across the desk. If they continue, we'll escalate to legal action for harassment and defamation. Emily signed without hesitation, a fire igniting in her chest. For the first time, she wasn't just protecting herself, she was shielding her unborn child. To fortify their defenses, Emily changed her phone number and warned her landlord, Linda, and friends to report any contact from Sophia or her parents. Diane and Tom. Ryan installed a state-of-the-art security system around their house, complete with cameras linked to their phones. No one's getting near you or our baby, he vowed, his voice steady. Emily felt a flicker of safety, but a nagging fear lingered. Sophia was too cunning to back down easily. Days later, a response came from Sophia via the lawyer. The message was curt. Sophia acknowledges the letter and will cease contact. Emily stared at the words, relief warring with skepticism. Could it really be over? She didn't trust Sophia's promise. But the legal threat was a shield, a line drawn in the sand. As winter melted into spring, Emily and Ryan settled into their new life in Seattle. Prenatal checkups brought joyful news. They were expecting a boy. His tiny heart beat a symphony of hope. In the ultrasound room, Emily's eyes brimmed with tears. Ryan's hand warm in hers. You've been so strong, he whispered, his voice thick with pride. From now on, it's just us, our family. Emily nodded, her gaze fixed on the screen. This child would never know the pain of living in someone's shadow. Never endure the manipulation she'd faced. Sophia, Diane, and Tom were ghosts now. Their calls and letters a fading memory. Emily had cut them out. Not with anger, but with resolve. She'd learned a brutal truth. Family wasn't always blood. It was Ryan, who stood by her through every storm. It was Linda, who believed her without question. It was the friends who'd filled the empty chairs at her wedding. And soon, it would be the son she carried. A new chapter untainted by the past. One quiet evening, as Emily lay in bed, she felt the first gentle kicks from her baby. Ryan's hand rested on her belly, his breath soft against her ear. Any regrets? He asked. Emily stared at the ceiling. Memories flashing by. Sophia's accusations. Her parents' betrayal. The empty aisle on her wedding day. None, she said, her voice firm. I lost them, but I found myself. And I found you. Outside, the Seattle sky sparkled with stars. A canvas of endless possibility. Emily closed her eyes, the weight of her past lifting at last. She was free.